This is the CLT, a safe place for you and me. Possibly the best show in the Queen City that's not on TV. Hello, everybody, and welcome to That's the CLT, live here on Instagram on the Charlotte MLS Instagram page, MLS Charlotte Instagram page. And I am Tiffany Blackmon, your team reporter, your host for today. We have a very wonderful guest joining us, and I'm going to go over to the hotline and patch him through.
Hello.
Yes!
What's
Woo-hoo!
up?
Everyone, former USMNT MLS legend. You have to wait for this because I worked really hard on this. Jimmy Conrad, everyone.
It's an absolute honor to be here. Thank you, Tiffany. Congratulations on the new gig. I'm very excited to see you in such a prominent role. Your voice is very valued, and I look forward to all the magic you're going to create in the future.
Thank you. You can come back anytime if you're going to bring those compliments. What's in the mug?
My mug is, well, it's tea, because that's what you guys are advertising. And my mug is Soccer Moms Rock.
I love it. I need to get one of those. I'm a dog mom, but that doesn't matter.
I respect it.
I digress. I do have to ask you, though, because in your Twitter bio, your Instagram bio, you aren't really known, I guess, for your work on the field, but you are arguably the most handsome defender in U.S. soccer history. So I need to know, how did you get that title? Did you size up your teammates? Was a poll taken nationally?
No, there was no, well, I guess there was a poll that I was the only person to vote. It was a lot of pressure. I put arguably in there just in case anybody had something else to say, but you know, this hair, this face, what are you going to do, Tiffany? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I got to thank my parents, ultimately, just good genes.
Give the people what they want. All right, Jimmy, I have to ask you then, and we're getting questions too. So if you guys throw up some questions, we'll try to answer them throughout this conversation. So how do the Charlotte Conrads sound to you as a name?
Done. You don't even have to finish what you're about to say. Yes, I love it. I'm 100% on board. There's actually a French team in Liga. They're Con, C-A-E-N, but it's pronounced Con. But they're my team. They're the Conradinos, you know. So that's my nickname, Conradino, and so I've adopted them. But if Charlotte wanted to go be the Charlotte Conrads, I would not say no. I would just want to see what the logo looks like. You know, if it's kind of one of those Conan O'Brien, just of his hair.
The hair.
You know, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I'll put in some calls. I know some people.
Appreciate that.
So I'll see what I can do.
Yes.
I mean, we're a new expansion team. There's been a couple other expansion teams. How great is it to add another, some more competition, another team to the MLS?
I think it's great, especially in that pocket of the country. I feel like it's been screaming for attention for a long time. So I'm really excited that North Carolina has some representation. I spent some time there, quite a great deal of time, either for preseason with MLS teams or with the World Cup camp in 2006. We were in Cary for a very long time. There are so many talented players in that area. So to have Charlotte be there and be the focal point where all these kids now have an opportunity and a more, transparent path to get to the top, I think that's really important. And I'm really excited because I know that the fans there are going to bring the heat.
And from your playing experience, you've obviously experienced rivalries, and now we're going to hope to be able to create some. We've got Atlanta down the road, Nashville right there. What is that like to watch that kind of atmosphere, to play in that type of atmosphere in the MLS?
I think it's great. It's become a lot more prominent, I'd say, since I retired, sadly. But I got to play in a few derbies. It was funny when I played for Kansas City. We always wanted somebody to be our rival, but they weren't really our rivals in return. So we had some great matches with Carlos Ruiz and the Landon Donovan when he was with the Quakes, and we always like, oh man, we have great games with those guys. So they're our rivals. And then the Galaxy like, no, San Jose's our rival. Like, oh, all right. And then we're like, all right, cool. Chicago's our rival. We have great games with Chicago. And they're like, no, Columbus is our rival. And like, all right, cool. Colorado's pretty close. We're gonna be, they'll be our rival. Like, nah, Salt Lake is our rival. So we never really had anybody. So I think Kansas City's still looking. So I wonder with Charlotte, hopefully you're not thirsting too much for a rivalry. Hopefully one will just appear and it'll be a good rivalry and it'll unfold naturally.
Speaking of thirsting, I saw a comment pop up. They said your closet is stacked, and it looks like you've just got a bunch of jerseys back there.
Yeah, I got a lot. Yeah, I guess I'm flexing right now. I just kind of
You are.
This was the best night for me. But I would say, yeah, I got a lot. There's probably about 100 there. I work with La Liga this season, so I got a lot of La Liga jerseys. That's a lot of alliteration there. But yeah, I've got a whole bunch. I went to Japan. Fun fact for you guys. Fun story time. With my family over Thanksgiving, just for fun. And there was a shop there that was selling all the old school jerseys. So I picked up crazy stuff like a Robert Perez, a Marseille kit. They had like 1996 MLS jerseys. And for like $20, I came back with like $500 worth of jerseys. I couldn't help myself. So yeah, there's a lot of those. Plus the ones those aren't even mine. The ones I have that I played with are in storage. And so, yeah, I got a lot. I guess, yeah, I'm definitely flexing.
Well, someone else noticed them too. They just asked, do you have a favorite one, a favorite jersey out of all those? Is it your own?
I brought it out. I brought it out for something special. Yeah, I'll get it.
Yes.
So I was doing something else for like another thing that I was doing on the media, excuse me. And I brought out my Real Madrid. I played against them in 2005 at the Bernabeu. And I switched with David Beckham after the game.
Oh, wow.
And it's so authentic. It's got a grass stain that I've not washed it. And why would you want to wash a David Beckham jersey anyway?
No, you don't.
I mean, whatever gold smells like, that's what he smells, you know? It's just rich mahogany maybe, you know? But so I have this one. And I think this one means a lot to me. That was a really special experience. And to have an MLS team go over there, I won't tell you the score, but I will say that it was really important for us to have that type of visibility and for me on a personal level, just to see what the world's best players look like and to see if you were actually worthy enough to be on the same field with them. I would say in moments, you know, I can hold my own against those guys, but to be able to see what Zidane looks like, or R9 Ronaldo, or Beckham, or Roberto Carlos, Raul, just to see those guys up close was really something special. So this game means a lot to me.
That by far is the coolest thing we've ever had on this show, and it probably will be the coolest thing that we have on this show. Do you have any plans to frame it?
I probably should frame it.
Yeah.
I played against Germany at the Westfalenstadion where Borussia Dortmund play, and I got Michael Ballack. I switched with Michael Ballack. I did watch this one because, you know, I think Germans are a little. Michael Ballack was very sweet. I was ecstatic. Obviously, he's a top player.
You've got an awesome collection. And speaking of the top players, we had another question float by.
Sure.
Who scored the greatest goal in U.S. national team history, and was it you?
I love my fans, first and foremost. They always set me up to say my own goal. I agree with you that it was a fantastic goal. Arguably, the best header when somebody didn't have to jump and score in the history of the game, not just U.S. soccer. But I mean, that was obviously a special goal. But yeah, there's bigger goals. I would say, you know, if I drop the facade, you know, when we scored, Paulo Caligiuri scored in Trinidad to take us to the '90 World Cup, the first time we'd qualified in 40 years. Probably a little bit more important than my goal against Mexico, but it's close. It's close, Tiffany. It's close.
It's up there.
It's up there.
You played against obviously some of the best competition in the world, but you've also probably had to play in maybe some hostile environments. Has anyone ever shouted anything at you? Maybe what's the funniest thing you heard from a fan heckling you or someone else?
You know, I heard a lot of things about my mom, Tiffany. And,
No.
The scary part is she hasn't confirmed or denied these rumors. And that makes me a little, you know, you're like, oh, okay, all right, learn something new about your mom. You know, I actually appreciated those atmospheres. You know, when I grew up, you saw that stuff on TV. But, you know, I try to go to Laker games. We couldn't really ever get tickets or afford them. Or try to like sit in the bleachers of the Dodgers or go to the stuff that was around me when I was a kid. But there was nothing like that type of atmosphere that you read about or saw. So when I got to play in those environments, whether it was down in Saprissa in Costa Rica for the CONCACAF Champions League or with the national team, Guatemala City, Mexico, any of those places, I love when they throw stuff at me. I absolutely love it. I mean, I thought, man, I'm good enough where they want to try to throw me off my game. And that, for me is a sign of respect. Or I remember being in Trinidad for my first World Cup qualifier, and they called our room at 3 a.m. To try to wake us up. Yeah. So, or they'll play music outside of the hotel until 5 a.m. I love it. I love that gamesmanship. And
Did they pull any fire alarms? I know I saw that a lot before with some other sports too.
I had it at a national team camp, but I think somebody was doing that so they could sneak back in because they were out after curfew.
You want to out them on here?
That's my 2 cents. I'm not going to rat them out, but
no.
I'm going to say that's what happened. But yeah, I got a lot of stories. I don't know how far deep we want to go down the rabbit hole, but yeah. So I always enjoyed that atmosphere. I love what's happening in MLS as it continues to grow, and the passion that the fans have. And I really feel like what the game does is it makes you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And the way that this sport does it, as opposed to some of the other ones, I feel like baseball in comparison is more of like a father-daughter thing or a father-son thing, and then basketball, for me, at least with the Lakers, you want to show up fashionably late. It was more of like a social thing to say you went to a Lakers game, but not really to sit there and enjoy it and crunch the numbers and watch the players in that way. But soccer is something different completely. And so I love that Charlotte has a team. I love that the sport continues to grow here. And yeah, I'm excited about the future.
And it's really cool for us because when you look around at the other cities that have gotten teams, and when you look at this city in particular, you have your transplants, you have your natives, but getting a team that everyone can kind of rally around because now it's their own can maybe you give me some insight into maybe what you think that would be like and what the atmosphere might be like, knowing that this is our team.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence. I think that new teams, when they come in, are a little bit reluctant to say, well, we kind of want to be like Atlanta, or we kind of want to be like the Sounders, or we kind of want to. But I think you take bits and pieces of what you're seeing, and then you create your own identity. And I think that's what Charlotte will do as well. We've been doing that for a long time. And one of the things that I do like to talk about is it seems like the rest of the world, this is still somewhat of speculation, but the rest of the world takes their cues from us with regard to pop culture and music and movies and art and all that stuff. But when it comes to soccer, we kind of take our cues from everywhere else. So everybody's been stealing from everybody for a really long time. Charlotte should have no shame in taking what they want and making it their own. That's just part of how it works. So I'm excited at the process because when you see the teams that, and I'll use Philadelphia as an example, they got started with their fan group was so passionate. They really wanted the Sons of Ben. They really wanted a team, and they're the heartbeat, the pulse of the team. And they really set the benchmark and the idea of what the passion would be. So I think the fans have a really unique opportunity right now, before any players are signed, to really kind of set the tone and the narrative for what this team is going to do and what it means to the city. And I think that's really unique. I
know you're coaching in the USL. You're the head coach. But someone just asked, do you think you'll come to a match when we're up and running?
Oh, 1,000%. I think people know that I'm coaching, but I don't think they know enough about USL League 2. It's a 2.5-month season. It's really short. We train twice a week. It's like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a rec team, obviously, because it's bigger than that, right? We're a stepping stone to the next levels, and we take that very seriously, and we try to develop as many players as we can. But it's a really short season. So when I say I'm coaching, yeah, it's for like 2 months of the year, and it's perfect for me because I can still do the media stuff, and that would allow me to come to a game in Charlotte for sure. And I really look forward to it, especially to see maybe one of the first games, if not the first game. I went to Minnesota for their brand new stadium, the opening day, and it was really special to be there. You could see how much pride went into that, and to have something of their own, not share it with anybody, it's just theirs, was really unique. And I look forward to seeing something similar in Charlotte.
I was digging through your Instagram, and so we have the Panthers here, obviously, but I saw you going out to different tailgates, and I forgot what football game you were at. Maybe you were in Kansas City, I think, but your mission was to convert football fans into real football fans. How do we go about doing that here in Charlotte?
Well, yeah, I'm sure you saw some of the answers. I think if people have already made up their mind about the game, then it's going to be pretty hard to convince them. It was actually outside of the Rose Bowl 2017 or 2018. So it's a bunch of college fans for that one. If I had gone to Kansas City, I think I would have been recognized. So it would have been a little bit harder to get the good. But
the hair would have gave it away?
Yeah, well, that goes without saying. I think that precedes me, that reputation of my hair. But there was that one guy who said it was the feminization of American sports or whatever. I'm like, what? what are you insane? You know, so that kind of closed-mindedness and singular focus on, you know, football or NFL football is unfortunate. I appreciate soccer fans because usually they're fans of more than just one sport. They're pretty well-rounded. You know, obviously if they're passionate about their team, that's cool, but they seem to be a little bit more open to it. And I get it. It's a game that necessitates being a part of something bigger and everybody doing their part to have success. So yeah, it's unfortunate. What would I say to fans now? I mean, I think you got to give it a shot. I think you have to go to a game live to appreciate it, to really see it. It's one thing to watch it on TV, but it's another thing to really consume the atmosphere in a positive way. And I'm getting the sense that Atlanta might be your rivals, but to use them as an example, I've heard about a lot of Atlanta Falcon fans that would rather go watch Atlanta United play now than Falcons.
I used to live in Atlanta.
Okay, yeah, so you would know.
Yeah.
The Falcons, you know, they don't want to go to those games anymore. And I think what's also unique about our sport is that there's an end time. You know, it's a 2 hours of your days, or you know, if you want to go an hour early, it's a 3-hour thing. It's not baseball. You never know when that's going to end. Basketball can last a while. NFL, you know, you just don't know. And those sports are more TV sports anyway. And I think that soccer really lends itself to being there in person. So if anybody's on the fence about whether they like the sport or not, or if they think it's not physical or it's sissy or whatever, just tell them to come to a game, and I think it'll change their mind.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely for sure. And I saw another question pop up. You've been everywhere. So what's your favorite stadium?
Wow. As a player or as a fan?
Ooh, they didn't specify. So why don't you give me...
I lost you.
Why don't you give me as a fan?
No, that's awesome. Okay, so I would say as a player, you know, I had the chance, Mexico, to bring that up. I had the chance that was the first time a sporting event had happened at the University of Phoenix Stadium before the Cardinals even played a game. So the field was immaculate. Everybody was buzzing about the new stadium. So to score there, with my youth club coach was in attendance, you know, everybody, my whole family was watching. So it's kind of funny, you know, how you perform really ties into how you remember a stadium. But obviously playing at Real Madrid's the Bernabeu was really special. Playing against Germany at the Westfalenstadion was special. Yeah, that's a tough one. But probably playing against Italy in the World Cup, coming on as a sub, getting my first World Cup appearance was in... I feel like I should know that. I think it's Kaiserslautern or
it's all right. Wasn't
It's a lot of letters, and I don't know how to pronounce it. So it's in Germany. Let's just say it was in Germany. But that one was up on a hill, a really special stadium, and so I like that in particular. Now that I can't name it, it makes me not sound so smart. But I retired due to concussions, Tiffany. I can make mistakes sometimes. Okay, so that's how
I've had a few myself. So if I get a little flighty,
you know. Okay, as a fan though, I would say that the best one, and it's kind of run down, is the Boca Juniors Stadium, La Bombonera. I got to see the Super Classico between them and River Plate. And yeah, when the whole stadium's bouncing and stuff, it's unlike anything else. And if you're going to put a stadium on your bucket list, that would probably be, or it should be in your top 3 for sure, because it's really unique. And it's a little scary because you think the whole thing's going to fall down, but it doesn't. And obviously the rivalry between those two teams is pretty ridiculous.
And sorry about that call. It was my mom who I told. I was like, Mom, I'm doing an IG live. But
look, I'm all about. I love moms. You know, soccer moms.
Jackie ushered me around in the minivan to my game. So shout out to Mom.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to pause this and talk to your mom,
I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but it's live, so anything can happen, I guess. Speaking of shout outs, we have Mid City Collective is one of our supporter groups, and they want to know if you'll join them.
Yeah, is there like what do I need? What's the ground rules? So is there like a form to fill out, or?
There may be a form. I think they would just let you in.
Okay,
like, I don't think you have to do anything.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if there was a, some type of initiation, or I don't know. I guess they'll let me know. But yeah, definitely excited to be a part of it. Yeah, I want to be there. I'm in.
You're in?
I'm in.
Then we'll get you a scarf. We'll get you set up. We'll get you hooked up. The works. Anything for.
I need that. You can tell I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I need more jerseys in my life. I want it.
And I don't even think I asked you this, but your toughest opponent. That was another question that.
Great question. So I would say playing against R9 Ronaldo was the best number 9 for me in the world. He could do it with both feet. We gave him 2 half chances in a game, and he hit the side netting in both. So I was like, all right, this guy's pretty good.
Not too bad.
Power, strength, like he had it all. There's nothing you could do to defend the guy. It was really just a matter of whether he was motivated to run on that particular play. I got to play against Messi in the Copa America, but he was started out wide right and didn't really come into my area too much, but I got a couple clean tackles on him. So got that going for me, which is nice. That's my new clip that I'm going to roll till the end of time. And so obviously he was a special player. What I loved about him is that he never played side to side or backwards. He always looked to play forward, running forward, playing forward, and he was you couldn't get your arm on him. I mean, he just was really slippery in his balance and pace, and his quickness is unreal. So those 2 guys stand out for me. I would say MLS wise, Carlos Ruiz was always a good battle for me. You know, he made it hard, he made it difficult, and in some ways I feel like we miss players like him. He was a bit of a villain, and we don't really have those guys anymore, you know, that really are antagonistic and kind of know that that's their role. I wish we would get back to that a little bit. It kind of makes it a little bit WWE, you know, where I just wish a player would be like, you know what, I hate Charlotte. You know, I mean, if a player said, let's just say that hypothetically, if a player came, or, you know, a rival or somebody from Atlanta or Orlando, whoever you guys want to consider your rivals, like, you know what, I hate Charlotte, I hate the fans, I hate the city. Do you know how many people would show up to that game to boo that person? It's astronomical, but that would be great for the league. I mean, obviously you don't want anybody to get hurt, and you don't want anything thrown at that guy, but God, that's the kind of juice that I think that the league could use, you know, in a way that, you know, the guy says it with a wink or whatever, you know, there's still a little bit of fun to it, but it would get the people fired up, and then the level of the atmosphere would take that next step, and I think the players would respond to that, and I think all of a sudden you got a game that has something on it. You can feel it. And I wish we had more of that was going on, whether it's coaches, players, whatever. That's me saying that people need to run their mouths a little bit more.
They do, because it gives fans and it gives players that game to circle, that game that you're eyeing, the game you want to be at, and screaming the loudest on your feet the whole time against the team that you despise the most. Those are always the most fun to me.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah,
my nickname.
We're on the same page. We're on the same page.
On the same page, and I like having a player that you don't like. Like, I played physical. I played maybe too physical sometimes. My nickname was like the enforcer.
I respect it.
I was an outside back.
I would, based on what you're doing now, I wouldn't, and how you present yourself now, I wouldn't suspect that.
There's another side, but that's a whole other can of worms.
Tiffany's got to switch, everybody. Tiffany's got to switch.
I got to switch. I worked on it. It doesn't flip on as easily anymore. So, and I want to keep my job too, right? So, when it comes to training, and I know training's obviously a big deal, because you have who was best at training that day, who was worst at training that day. Ryan Bailey, our producer, who you know, wanted me to ask you this question. So did you ever have to wear one of those shirts? Like, when you had a bad day at training, did you ever have to show up the next day with like the worst t-shirt?
It depends on why you're wearing it. You know, if you're on the 5-a-side team, you know, and you guys were expected to win, and you made the mistake that led to the play that let the other team win. Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to wear a shirt. You know, you're going to get beef from everybody anyway. I think you know that. But yeah, I mean, or if you're wearing it because you got Meg 3 times in a row at 5v2 or Rondo, whatever they call it. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows, you know, why you're wearing the thing. So no, we didn't have that when I was playing. But if it was a younger guy that was having a bad day, you'd think more often than not that the older guys would be nurturing, but they're not. They just absolutely hammer that guy. Oh, how was your day? Oh, another one between your legs. Oh, wow, you got beat for another goal. But that's the mentality. You know, I remember there was a play. This was at UCLA when I played. We were playing 5-a-side, and this one day in particular, once every 2 weeks, Siggy Schmid was our coach, rest in peace. And we call it tournament day, and it was a big deal to all of us, because everybody's teams would be different. You add up your points, and at the end of the year, you figure out who was like the tournament day. Your teammates were, you always knew how to win. So I ended up being tournament day champion, by the way. But that's not why I'm telling the story. So we were getting
I want to hit the applause button, though.
Yeah, we should. I will take that applause because I was a walk-on and I needed to win that type of stuff to get any kind of.
Yes.
So we had one in particular. We had a young goalkeeper who's a freshman, but he talked a big game. He was always pretty boisterous, and he just had a shocker one day. Gave up 3 really easy goals, like balls going through his hands. And at this point, a lot of the guys that are on my team ended up being professionals, you know, Carlos Bocanegra, Steve Shack, a whole bunch of guys. And we just turned around and, you know, we have a high standard. Dude, what are you doing? Why are you, like, get it together. You talk this big game, get it together. We're on him. Next play, right? He comes out, it's a 50-50 ball. He comes charging out because he's emotional. And he breaks his leg. Isn't that amazing? Like, he just came in so hard.
That story just went so, I just got so sad.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm telling that story because that's how it was. You know, that mentality didn't change. I feel like UCLA, amongst probably some of the other, let's say, top schools that were developing a lot of pros, you just have that mentality. So if you have a bad day, more often than not, nobody's going to be your buddy. And if anything, they're going to give you a hard time. And it just gives you thicker skin, right? It helps you have to figure it out. Because as you know, when you start to play the higher levels, yeah, I mean, everybody's kind of your friend, but at the end of the day, you got to do your job, right? And if you don't do your job, they're going to go find somebody else that does. And so anyway, I don't know why I tangented into there, but I just remember feeling really bad that we gave that guy a hard time when he broke his leg. Yeah.
It's the CLT, anything goes. I even made up a song for the show. I will, when this is posted somewhere, they'll put it up front. It's really bad.
There's nothing, as long as you're trying, Tiffany, that's all that matters.
I tried, and I got my dog to bark on command at the end, so it really just caps it off. I want to get in a couple more before we let you off the hook. A couple people I saw have asked, who was your favorite teammate?
I mean, I got asked this.
Is this going to get you in trouble?
No, it's tough because you share a lot of intimate moments and a lot of really high pressure moments with guys, and so different people means different things to you at different points in your career. I think, you know, somebody you lean on maybe when you're going through a tough time is really important to you. And then there's somebody that you share success with when you win your first championship or whatever. That's a tough one. You know, at UCLA, Matt Reese was a goalkeeper, played for New England for a long time. Super funny. I love that dude. He's like a brother to me at this point. So, you know, he would be up there. Joe Cannon, you know, we came up together in San Jose. We won our first title. You know, we both didn't get drafted out of MLS. We went down to San Diego and played in the lower leagues and kind of got pushed up together. So you share that kind of journey together. I live with Richard Mulrooney. He's coaching the University of Memphis now. Josh Wolf was my teammate for a long time with the national team and with Kansas City. So just dealing with adversity with him and what he's been through. Yeah, I can't pick one. I mean, but those guys that I mentioned are really special to me. And what I love, and I think you can speak to it too, anytime you're haven't talked to your teammates for a couple of years or months or whatever, you just pick up right where you left off.
Yep.
And I think that's my favorite part, because sometimes you have friends that feel hurt when they haven't heard from you for a while or whatever it may be, but your teammates don't care. You know, they're just like, all right, cool, there you are. Let's just pick up right where we were. And so I really love that kind of part of it. And I miss being a part of a locker room. I miss sharing that's the stuff I remember most, are the stupid jokes and pranks that we were pulling, as opposed to anything we did on the field outside of maybe winning a trophy. But yeah, it all goes by really quick, and this got really sad.
I know. I'm like, I was thinking about my freshman initiation back in high school when I played, and them dressing us up. We had to go eat at Waffle House, and it was a whole big thing. But those are fun memories that you have.
Yeah, of course. That
come back. I did some asking around about you before I agree with Ryan to bring you on as a guest. You know, it was a really hard sell, but no one had a bad thing to say about you.
I don't believe that.
Do you have one bad quality about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say roll the clip a lot, you know, because
I saw that pop up on the questions. Everyone was throwing that up.
Roll the clip, because, you know, that's my tagline at this point. What's funny is that I can be somewhere super random, and somebody like, how's that goal against Mexico? You know, you're like, all right, I got them all properly brainwashed. So, you know, I probably maybe hammer that home a little bit too much, but that's part of my charm, let's be honest. I would say I can be super competitive at times. I don't get to show it so much, and I think you might run into this as well. I think it was the hardest part about transitioning from playing to not playing, was that I used to compete every single day, and now I don't have that anymore. I don't even have that type of outlet. Like, when you get into the media space, for the most part, yeah, there might be, we're all competitive, of course, but it feels more collaborative. And as much as I love that, I kind of wouldn't mind like a common enemy that I could like work against, you know, because I used to come up with invisible opponents to help me get better when I was a player. I don't have that so much now. But I will say, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's one or two. You have to ask. Should I go get my wife? I think I should go get my wife.
Yeah, go bring her. I played in a PR, like a media dynamo game when I was working in Houston. Yeah. And I went, like, I was really physical. Like, there was a dude with a knee brace that I almost tried to take out because I was still competitive from college. And it's like, whoa, go easy. And so I know what you mean when you talk about wanting to compete again, to physically play.
I'll give you one story really quick. So I went and I do pickup games when I travel, and I look forward to doing that again when everything opens up. But I did one in Minnesota ahead of their opening stadium. And I talked to this place called Joy of the People. And it's like this basically a gym that's been opened up in a program that allows underserved kids to have a place to go and feel safe and play the beautiful game, mainly futsal. But these guys want to come out and all they want to do is meg you. So it was a great turnout. We had about 100, 150 people come out, which is great. But then all these little 13, 14-year-olds, they're not even trying to play the game. They're just trying to meg me the whole time so they can see. So fast forward to us playing. This 13-year-old megs me and he starts celebrating, but the ball goes between my legs and goes to my team. And I'm like, you can meg me all day, dude, as long as it goes to my team. Like I don't care. But however they try to score their stuff in their mind, it's about kind of showing each other up. And I get it. Like there's a whole subset of that. That's how people play the beautiful game. That's not how I play it per se. So I just started running my mouth like this. He's celebrating. All of his buddies are going, ooh. I'm like, for what? Why are we giving the ooh? Like it's my team got the ball. So immediately it sometimes I have to be careful because like you say, all of a sudden that trigger hits and then it gets a little crazy because I don't like being shown up. But I didn't understand. Didn't feel like I was being shown up. Anyway, so I turn it on a little bit. I'm like, okay, listen, when I go out and play pickup games, I'm doing like the number 10. I'm just playing, trying to be a playmaker. Yeah, I mean, my chops were as a center back. If you want me to play real defense, I can 1,000% play some real defense. So I could feel my adrenaline getting up a little bit. So I just start following this guy. Don't let him get a sniff of the ball, run in my mouth. Like, what, are you going to try to make me now?
This is the 13-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at that point, I'd already lost it because once they all went to the ooh, I would just took it to another level. So I felt really bad about it. Well, I didn't at the time. I was up, and then my team won. So I find out later because I was playing hard, I wasn't being physical or anything. I was just getting kind of tight, making it hard for him to play. And I'm like, hey, when I was playing, I would say this. I can't believe I'm telling everybody this, but I would say that I would run with him and I'd be like, this is what the game is really like. This is what a defender looks like when you're playing against somebody that knows what they're doing. So go for it. I actually dare you to put it between my legs and see what happens. That's what I was running my mouth. He didn't try it again. And then after the game, when we won, he left and started crying.
Look, kids need to learn they need to learn at an early age.
And yeah, well, and I didn't. I guess I feel more bad about it now, but at the time I was like, that's the game, dude. Like,
he's probably a CEO now. You made him ready for the real world.
It's a tough world out there. and the rule of thumb is don't show up somebody when there's nothing to show up. Like, if you honestly, and I told him, if you put it between my legs and you get around the other side and you get it, dude, hat tip to you, well played, excellent. But if you're just trying to show me you have to put it between my legs and it's not like the proper soccer play, right? The right decision, or because he was passing up passes to open people to try to meg me. It was crazy. It was just so out of I was just like, I can't deal with players that play like that. So It took me to another level. Anyway, that's probably one thing that I could tone down a little bit. That's the story time with Jimmy. Thanks for having me.
That was my favorite story, and we're definitely going to have to do this again. Wait, before we let you go, what's coming up next? What are you working on next? I know you wear a lot of different hats.
I do. So right now there's not a lot. I'm going to be probably hosting a FIFA tournament with EA and UNICEF at the end of June to raise money for all the COVID relief. I am working on developing some merch. So me and my little team, we created a Stay Home FC and Frontline United. And we're going to make shirts, and all the money's going to go to global giving. And they're cool. They're really cool. I'll have to send you one. So
please do.
Yeah, they're really neat, and we're really excited about it. And I think that'll drop in a week or two. But all of the money goes. There's not proceeds. Like every single dollar goes to helping with COVID relief. So I'm really excited about that. And then just doing my own stuff. I'll get on Twitch and Twitter and do my Coach Jimmy's and do my soccer minutes and do my live streams and do a podcast. I'm actually doing a podcast with a sports psychologist, and it's really going to be talking about the mental side of the game, which I think doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really fascinating. I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but I like that. I like that there's a little fear of where it could lead and what I might reveal or learn about myself that I'm not prepared for. But that should make for some good podcasting. So I'm excited about a couple things that are coming up.
Tell that psychologist the kid's story.
I will.
And see what
he's already seen it because he was my sports psychologist when I was a player, so he knows. Yeah.
Jimmy, we want you at our home opener. We want you there. I'm seeing that now popping up. So hopefully we can make that happen. I think we're frozen. I hope we're not running out of time. Let's see if this comes back. Yes, we got you back. It froze for a second. Thank you so much for your time, Jimmy. You're the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I look forward to coming to Charlotte for the first game of the season. Stamp it. To promise.
Yes.
Happen.
We look forward to seeing you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks,
bye.
Cindy. Bye.
This is the CLT, a safe place for you and me. Possibly the best show in the Queen City that's not on TV.